All right, let's get back. We're going to set up our controller, new file. Maybe I'll call it something. Main.js. Excuse me. We're going to see how we can copy and paste here too, because there's a lot of stuff to do here. So let's do Angular module to do controller. Perfect. So the first thing we want to do here is we want to provide the to-do service. So we want to provide this information to the controller. So we want these guys to talk to each other. So we'll do a dot controller. Excuse me. Pass in the main controller. And then we'll scope in scope. HTTP. To-dos. Our function that we're passing in is scope. Can't spell right. HTTP and to-dos. And so that'll be parentheses, and we'll do this. That'll be later on. So now we'll type in scope. So some of this is AngularJS like this right here. So I don't expect you to know it, and that's fine. It's just, I found it easier to do it this way. Loading equals true. The idea was just to show you how to use NodeJS, JavaScript, and NoSQL on the front end. So I kind of carried away on this one. All right, so get. So our get in this case would be, so when the landing of the page gets all the tasks, I want to show them. So use that service to do that. So how do we do that? So the controller does get, and we say success function data, and oops, scope to-dos equals data, and then same thing here, loading, same thing as we did up there. This time we're doing false, and there we go. All right, so I'm gonna see if we could copy and paste some of this stuff. All right, so now we need to do a create, and this is when submitting the add form, send the text. So when we are in, let's see here, let me see if I can pull up my environment again. Let me go back. All right, so if I do start it up, I just noticed that. All right, let's pull this back up again. Oh, there it is. All right, there we go. So what this means right here, move this out of here. What this means here is when we create, we want all our tasks to show up when the page starts up, like I just did now. So remember what we had here previously. So it looks smaller only because of that. So it could be an app, which is actually a cool idea to make it, convert this into a Cordova app. Anyhow, that is what we're trying to accomplish here when we do the create. So I'm going to just copy in a mess of code here because I've been typing too much. So we're going to copy this in, explain a little bit. I wrote some notes on this. So it'll make some sense. So let's do this. There we go. All right, so create. It validates the form data to make sure that something is there. So we want to make sure that the form, if the form is empty, nothing will happen. Great. So that means that, like for example, if we did this and the page loaded, we have nothing because that's what's happening here in that feature. Nothing happens. So if successful creation, call our get function. So it calls our get functions and says, hey, we need to get all the data, which basically means it gets the data from the database. That's all that's happening here. So that's our create. The next thing is we need to program our delete statement in here. Okay, so we come down to here and we do our delete statement. So our delete tasks. So how do we do it? Once again, I'm just going to copy and paste in because I'm running out of time here. Oops. So one thing is we're going to need this here. There we go. Delete task, it deletes the function. So if successful creation, call our get function, calls our get function and deletes it. So once again, let's add something. Writing code is fun. So we hit add. And if we, let's write something out. And if we'll do something else. Today is Friday Eve. And so if I do writing code is fun, if I click on that, it purges it out. So that's what happens. This feature gets called. This is, hey, loading false, grabs the data, boom, there you go. So that right there finishes our, our controller. Now there's a lot of copy and paste here because I don't feel like copying it all out, pasting it all out at least. Controller set up. We have the services set up. What is next? Let me think here. So we have routes, we have configuration, that's good. We still have to set up our public file, but our controllers and our services are good from what I see. I'm fine with that. We need to set up our core file and our index file. So let's do this real quick. So let's do a new file, index.html. We'll come back and load it up here in a second. And then we'll also have a core file that will be under our JavaScript folder. And so we will do this right here. And it'll be called core.js. You call it anything really. It's just what I call it. So it's for Angular. So we'll do Angular.module. And then I'll call it Scotch. You call it what you want to call it. It's just what I called it. To do controller and to do service. And there we go. So that is our core file that gets called at some point. I think that is it. We have our server file set up. We have our core file. We have our services and our controller. We have our database. We got everything set up. The last thing we have to do is set up our index file, which could be fun. Let's see how much time we got here. Yeah, we got time. All right. So let's do this here. HTML ng app. This is for Angular. Equals, I call it this right here. If you remember, I just call it that in the core file. So I'll use that. Set my heading. Meta. Don't need meta here. Title. PPU task list. We need to include our CSS files. Oops. All right, so these I copied in from somewhere else. Didn't create my own. You can create your own, but I just use someone else's stuff. So you could easily go out to this website site right here. and grab it. Actually, if you do that, it'll download it for you. So I used all this stuff out here, which is free. All right, cool. Now we need to grab our AGS. Oh my God, our Angular thing. So that got a little crooked there somehow. Hold on, what happened? Not sure what happened there. All right. We do got our style. All right, cool. This would be our scripts. So in this area, we'll put in our we'll put in our JavaScript stuff. So in that case, we want to put in our Ajax, well, our API that we're using for AngularJS. So I'm going to copy that in here, and you could type it in. There's that. We also need to have our controller set up, so we'll do script source equals JS controllers main.js. So this right here will be, it'll load up our controller. We can copy, well, that'd be the same thing. So let's do this right here. We'll just change some stuff around. And we'll do it again. So for here, we'll put services. And under services, we'll do to-do.js, and then move this over here. And then we have core.js. There you go. So this right here, I guess I should have put it like this, or it'll think it's doing something. Those controllers. This right here loads to-do service. We'll put services. And the last one is our main application. Perfect. All right, did I do heading yet? No, okay. So, boy, I should have indented over here. Sorry. Oops. Oh, not perfect. Perfect. All right, cool. So now it has a little bit more room. All right, so now come down to heading. All right, now we need to set all our controllers, our head count. There's a lot more to do, guys. So I'm just gonna copy this stuff in instead of, because I already wrote it and I know it works, and I just don't want to spend. Let's see here. So we'll copy this information in right now. So this right here sets our controller, which is using our AngularJS. We're using our main controller. Our class is our container, our header, and our to-do count, which is just I called it point park list. We'll call it point park PPU tasks. You could call it anything. This is just a length. So this is this guy out here. Grab this information. Offset our loop. Oops, our loop over for our AngularJS. Perfect. Now we need to close that out. Perfect. There we go. Now we need to create a form for our crate. So this right here will, let's me writing all this out. It'll create this right here for us. Okay. So let's come over here and dent in, paste it. This right here creates our form for us. As you see here, I have a button here. You can call it anything. I called it add. You can call it create. You call it whatever you want to call it. And then I have type something here. So you can change that to something else. We'll test this out and see if it works in a minute here. Because we're almost done. And then we'll come down here. The body and our HTML. And that's it. Now here's one thing I noticed. I don't have all this code in here. So there's that. Scrolling up a little bit. Scrolling over a little bit. So this is me going down a little bit, showing you again. This is HTML code that we need in here. Perfect. All right, so that's that. I'm pretty sure that's all the code. To-do routes, yep, it is. We have PPU tasks. I actually changed it from add to create. So I could, and for type something, I could come down here and put something else in. We could put add a task, save it, refresh it, add a task. So first task is to show up on time, show up for class, learn something, write code, submit assignments. We can keep going on. Walk to L Hall for dinner. As you get my point, so it keeps going on. We're able to delete like we wanted to. If we reload the page, it has two. We could go back over to our database and you can look at your tasks and make sure they're in there. And that's pretty much it for creating this environment. So I want you guys to do the same thing. I want you to change it up a little bit. Make yours different than mine, but also see if you could make it, you could use some different color in the background, make it yellow, blend in, whatever you want to do. But nonetheless, use this as a building point in building your other application. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope this is a good learning process. All right, good day.